Today in history in 1981, NASA launched the first space shuttle, Columbia, which was designed to orbit Earth, transport people and cargo to and from orbiting spacecraft, and glide to a runway landing on its return to Earth. Now, if only they could get the Boston Tea to run right.
Welcome to What the Fuck History, where we discuss the wackiest and weirdest things that make us say, well, what the fuck history. I am your host, Zachary, and friends, listeners, countrymen, I come to bury Maximinius, not to praise him.
My name's Meghan, and one day I'm going to overthrow the real king of Candyland and become the dictator of Candyland.
Oh.
And I'm Matt. Today I didn't learn a goddamn thing, and it was honestly a little bit refreshing.
I love that for you. Like, that is a hot take, and I love that for you.
Look.
That's so wholesome. I love days where no one learns anything.
Sometimes you go to work, you work, and then you go home. And you don't get bombarded with random facts from the internet that you can use as podcast fodder. And today was one of those days.
Oh,
today was one of them.
I mean, you did learn something over the weekend when we got sushi.
I did learn something, and I almost texted you to be like, hey, what was that thing that you told me? And then I decided that this was a funnier intro.
Okay, well then can I give it today I learned?
You can definitely give it today I learned today. I learned.
On Saturday, I taught Matt that...
That's a joke that only works once.
Yeah. On Saturday, I taught Matt that there is an increase in the number of home runs in the Major League Baseball right now. And it is due to climate change making the air thinner so the ball can travel faster.
Well, Babe Ruth could never.
No. Babe Ruth could never. No steroids, no leaky ozone, just straight bats on balls.
Straight bats on balls, no help from capitalism.
Balls. Speaking of baseball, though, I heard that they made a few new rules that are hoping to, like, up the pace of the game.
Okay.
Yeah, well, they cut down 9 of the innings.
What'd they do? Wait, what? It's only a 1-inning game now?
Yeah.
No, there's only 9 innings.
Yeah, cut all of them.
Oh, yeah, no, that would be great. No, I guess they've made it...
Cut all of the innings.
They've made it so that pitchers can only take, like, 30 seconds, I think. Not even.
Good.
There's like a pitch clock now.
There's a pitch clock now.
I mean,
good.
Here's the thing.
To be honest, it could have used that a long time ago.
Yeah, baseball is, in my humble opinion, and you can come at me if you think I'm wrong, is like one of the most boring sports. By definition, a perfect game of baseball is just 2 guys playing catch.
Yep.
However, with that said, there will never be any form of media as entertaining as the Savannah Bananas.
The Savannah Bananas are great.
Who else comes out to the field dancing to ABBA? No one.
In case you're unaware, ladies and gentlemen of our listening audience, and I promise we will get started in just a second here, the Savannah Bananas are to baseball what the Harlem Globetrotters are to basketball.
Except the Savannah Bananas are actually competitive.
They
do play and like they have like it's like a AAA league, I think, or it's like a different. It's not the MLB.
It's definitely not the MLB.
It's definitely not the MLB, but like the Harlem Globetrotters is a show. They don't actually play anyone.
No, you're absolutely right. You're right. The Savannah Bananas
like their wins and losses count.
Do actually play for some stakes, but it is not on like the biggest stage possible, obviously.
No, there are stakes, but they have fun with it. And that's why I love it.
Which is awesome. If you guys have seen, I'm fairly certain that the Savannah Bananas is the one where like the pitcher is going to pitch and then the entire team starts to dance.
Yeah.
And he throws like a strike. I'm pretty sure. Anyways, if you've seen that video on TikTok or YouTube Shorts or anywhere else, that is the Savannah Bananas in action.
I don't watch the internet, so.
That's fair. All right, kids.
Anyway.
We have set our strikes back to 0. We have played a completely imaginary game of rock, paper, scissors, and the order for tonight, after much deliberation in the After Dark section, was Zach, followed by me, followed by Meghan. We had originally said that it was going to be Zach, Meghan, followed by me, but then I said that my story is very little, so Zach demanded a little story sandwich.
He's just a little guy.
He's just a little guy. But Zach will be going first. So, Zach, take it away.
Thank you. So,
I
if you
just
could not
also
tell,
want you to know that I thought about making the pause between take it and away way longer there, just to make it very awkward, but I didn't do that.
there's always next time.
There is always next
My
time.
favorite part of you being like, Zach, take it away, is the fact that he started and you were like, never mind.
Well, see,
That was my favorite part of your intro.
here's the thing. Now that I know that you have this on your brain, I know that the threat is always looming. So,
The chances of me extending the take it and away is low, but never 0.
exactly.
Anyways, sorry.
It's all good. If you couldn't tell by my intro, I am going to be talking today about some good old Roman guy. Well, okay, so he's kind of Roman.
Zach
We're gonna get
loves
into
his
it.
Roman boys.
I do love my Roman boys. I feel like some, his total side tangent, but, it's relevant, kind of. I feel like there's, certain red flags and green flags when it comes to, studying history.
Yeah, but Zach, when he's talking about Roman boys, is just wearing rose-colored glasses.
I mean, okay, so I was going to say, studying Roman history is, a gray flag.
Yeah.
Who knows the fucking color?
Who knows anymore?
But I am going to be talking about a very specific Roman-ish guy.
Such is the nature of this podcast.
Yes. Born Verus Maximinus in 1703. Oh, yeah. We're going back to triple digits again, baby. Maximinus was supposedly born in Thrace to a Gothic father and an Hellenic mother.
Dude, you say Gothic father, and I understand the Goths are a thing, but I just
All I
see
can
him.
picture is an emo.
Yeah.
Emo dad.
Like your
Yeah.
favorite goth dad. Yeah, absolutely.
Like that one commercial where the dad paints his house black because his teen daughter is a goth.
Yeah, it's just like a dad with a bunch of earrings and black lipstick saying, "Get into the hearse, kiddo, we're getting ice cream."
It's exactly like that.
Get into the hearse.
So born in 1703, Verus Maximinus, he was supposedly born in Thrace to this Gothic father and Hellenic mother. And I do say supposedly because this comes to us from the Augustan history, which anyone who's familiar with their histories, especially the Roman ones, the Augustan history was just as reliable of a narrator as our friend of the podcast, Procopius.
Procopius!
Longtime listener, Procopius.
My man!
Long-time listener, Procopius.
Friend of the podcast, Procopius.
My favorite thing about Procopius, now that we've brought him up, is just, and clearly this same recording method for these histories you're about to tell us, is just people saying, history's written by the victors, but I got the pen now, boys and girls.
Boyo! Yeah. Anyway, I love that too, but it gets wild sometimes. He is born of this Gothic daddy, which, if you don't know, those are Germanic peoples back in this time, and an Hellenic mommy, who were Iranian nomads.
I was gonna ask.
I wasn't familiar with the Hellenics
before.
Yeah, I did not know either, and I did 2 seconds of research and was like, oh, that's interesting.
That sounds
Not
like
really
the
relevant.
majority
I
of our
didn't
stories, bro.
It was it was relevant enough to look up where they came from, not relevant enough to go into the deep dive of their
No, that's
culture.
fair. Totally fair.
And it's important to note him being born to these two people because it made him the lowest of the low class in Roman society. People basically saw him as nothing more than a barbarian from birth. His dad was an accountant for the governor's office, though, so the family had like some standing in their town, but not really much. And Maximinius grows up quick and he grows up mean. His fist gets hard and his wits get keen.
Nope.
And
strike.
He's...
Yeah. Strike.
Look,
I had to.
I need a warning before we tell stories in rhyme, all right? I think...
Okay, but like it's a Johnny Cash line.
I think the fact that... see? I loves me some Johnny Cash.
Loves me some Johnny Cash. It's a boy named Sue.
But I hate the fact that a rhyme was thrown in my face without ample preparation.
I hope you know it is now the looming threat that you're going to have over your head that one day...
Wow. There's a lot of threats tonight.
I'm going to do a shit story about Shakespeare or something, and I'm going to put the whole fucking thing in iambic pentameter just to fuck with you.
I think...
Wow, that'd be dedication.
That this episode, first of all, needs to be named the episode of Looming Threats. But secondly, I will reverse the strike because it is a Johnny Cash lyric.
I'll take a half a strike.
Half a strike is fine.
I'll take half a strike.
So much like a boy named Sue...
Interesting.
Maximinius grows up kind of tough and a little bit ragged around the edges. And while he's fairly young, he starts off just doing like some shepherding work because, as I said, kind of poor. What do the poor people do in Roman culture? They farm. They shepherd. But he also ends up leading
you can't do that anymore, I feel. What? You can't fall on hard times and become a shepherd now.
Yeah, right? If only we could all just fall back on the sheep industry.
I just feel like you fall on hard times now and you just become a drug dealer. It's
or you fall
just,
on
not as fun.
You fall on even worse times and become a drug addict.
I mean, there's that too.
You heard it here first, folks. If the drug industry is the modern sheep equivalent,
that it is.
Meghan has now said that
Meghan has proclaimed it, and thus it shall be.
But at a young age, after he's done doing some shepherd work, he ends up leading a group of bandits for a hot bit.
Yes.
It's mostly the normal, sacking of places and
I
not
too
anything
would like to
major.
retire from my job to become a shepherd and then a leader of bandits.
That sounds pretty dope, actually.
That's, you know what?
Sounds relaxing.
It's not far off from being a drug dealer, I'll be honest.
Okay, well... I see, I'm not wrong.
No, this is just the episode where we talk about drugs and threats.
Yeah, looming threats.
Looming threats and drug deals.
There's a looming threat that you will be attacked by drug... made it too real. I made it too real. I'm sorry. I'll take a strike for that.
But so he's leading this bandit group, and it kind of doesn't really amount to much. So what is a boy to do?
Oh no, become a super shepherd?
No, he doesn't become a super shepherd.
Become a super bandit.
Kind of.
Oh, shit.
Depends on how you view the world.
Oh, he becomes a politician.
No, he becomes a super soldier.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
oh my god, Captain America?
Yeah, well, he joins the Roman Legion under the reign of...
America.
He becomes Captain Rome. Captain
Caesar?
Rome?
No.
No.
Caesar's a nice guy. They named a salad after him.
After he got stabbed to death by his best friends. Et tu, Brute. So he joins the Roman Legion under the reign of Septimus Severus.
Severus Snape, got it.
Septimus Severus Snape, yeah. He joins under the reign of Septimus Severus. And also, can we just take a minute to discuss how fucking awesome Roman names are first?
Yeah, a bit.
Oh, 1,000%.
I have not run into one Roman name that I'm not just damn, that's fucking badass.
There's this one guy. His name is Dave.
Dave.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine just such a boring ass name in ancient Rome?
Yeah, we have in here Antilius and Maximus and Dave.
Dave. Come on out here, Dave. Get onto the Senate floor. Come on down.
Come on down. You've been the next contestant on The Price is Right. So,
Are we going to enact policies today?
Anyway, Maximinus grows in rank and power in the Roman legion relatively quickly, growing from a common soldier to a general, to eventually gaining some, as you said, Matt, political power.
Yeah.
Which, that's actually very common to how a lot of Thraco-Roman emperors between the 3rd and 5th century kind of did things. They'd be like, well, I have the biggest army, and therefore the biggest claim to emperor, so fucking deal with it. Like, the Senate isn't going to question your legitimacy to the throne when you have a giant army standing behind you.
No.
However,
that's how I got my job.
Won't.
No, they won't.
Most people don't question you if you have an army standing behind you, so.
Yeah. In the words of Theodore Roosevelt, walk tall and carry a big stick.
That's true.
That's what I do every day.
Or is it walk soft and carry? I don't remember. Maybe it's walk soft and carry a big stick.
I think it's speak softly and carry a big stick.
Speak softly and carry a big stick. That's the word I'm thinking. I was like, I fucked up that saying, and I know it.
But hey,
speak
here's
softly,
the thing.
carry a big stick. Yeah.
We're not here to talk about
No, we're not here to talk
that.
about Teddy Roosevelt. But, like, this whole idea that he has this giant army behind him is almost comedic.
Nice.
Because Maximinus is built like a fucking truck.
Yeah.
Well, I know
Same.
I said that the Augustan histories are kind of shaky at best. I absolutely want to believe every fucking word that they say here. In my heart of hearts, I want to believe them.
Okay.
Because according to these histories, Maximinus, who eventually gets the name Maximinus Thrax, which is even more badass.
Yeah, that's a good name.
It's a solid name.
It is a solid name. But he was recorded in these histories to be an astounding 8 feet 1 finger high in height.
I don't know what that measurement
I do not
means.
believe that that's the truth. Well, okay, so they probably don't measure feet the same way.
No. 8 feet tall.
No. Illegal.
Hear me out, though.
Okay.
Let's go with the let's yes and the Augustan histories.
All right, fine.
I don't. Okay.
He was recorded to be 8 feet 1 finger high, with hands and body proportions so large that he would wear his wife's bracelets on his thumb as rings.
That's too much man for a lady.
Yeah, that's a little too much, man. And now, well,
I'm scared for her.
Oh, yeah, you're getting ripped in twain, my lady.
Whoa! Probably, but damn.
Probably. Now, as Matt pointed out, and you both have kind of guffawed at, this is probably not fully true, but he was a giant man. The historian Hadrian, who is actually a credible source, once wrote, and I quote...
Is actually a credible source.
Yeah, he's a credible source for fucking Roman times. So Hadrian writes, he was in any case a man of such frightening appearance and colossal size that there is no obvious comparison to be drawn with any of the best trained Greek athletes or warrior elite of the barbarians. He was just a mountain of a man. And in man. Roman art and painting of the time, he is actually depicted having a very prominent brow, nose, and jaw, which all are signs, symptoms, and kind of points to acromegaly, which is a disorder that causes excessive growth in parts or all of the human body. It's commonly known today as giantism. So it is possible that he was 8 feet tall, but it's also possible that they didn't know how to fucking measure things back then. Fuck you, Pythagoras, and your theorem.
It's also possible that,
oh, he's Greek.
He wasn't 8 feet tall, but he was just, heads and shoulders taller than, everyone around him.
Yeah, he was just so tall that they were probably, 8 feet tall. That seems right.
Washington.
It's going to be stuck in my head now, and I'm going to have to watch it after we finish this.
Shit.
He has giantism, clearly, and he's just a very large guy, and he's, in the army. This sounds like it's going to be a fun time, right?
It should be.
Well, isn't one of the things about gigantism is, like, they have super gummy ligaments?
It can happen. I am not...
Is it not all the time?
I'm not the foremost expert in gigantism, but I don't think it's like, hey, every case means gummy ligaments. I do know it's like, you're not going to live long because that's a lot of blood to be pumping in the body.
Because your heart can't pump that much blood.
Yeah. It's fucking Godzilla rules. Kaijus can't exist because fucking physics.
It's true.
That's fair.
But this kaiju of a man did exist, and...
This kaiju of a man.
He wants power. Because when you grow up with nothing, sometimes that makes you want everything. So in March,
That's
damn,
true.
the Romans love their March.
They sure do.
They sure do. In March of 23-5, I'm trying to figure out how to do triple-digit dates. It's weird.
Could just say 235.
Yeah, well, I want to say like 2023, but... So in March of 235, the Legio 22nd and other troops of the Roman legion all elect Maximinius, not for a Senate seat, but to become the emperor of all of Rome.
Hell yeah!
That's crazy.
And they do this by going in and killing the old emperor.
Yeah.
And just being like, well, he's the emperor now, which then very quickly the entire Praetorian Guard's like, yep, I guess he's emperor now. And the Senate...
I guess that's correct.
I guess that's that. So with the entire army and the Praetorian Guard being like, this guy's our guy, the Senate is kind of like cornered into agreeing. Because the Senate hates this guy. He is a commoner. He is a lowly, poor peasant. And they've just elected him to become... Elected's a loose term, I guess, in this situation. But they've been like, this guy's our emperor. And the Senate's like, well, I guess we have to agree with this. Even though we don't want a commoner as an emperor, I guess tough titties.
Tough titties.
Tough titties.
I'm going to start saying that to
just
people.
The toughest of titties.
I'm going to be like, fuck you, tough titties.
So Maximinius starts doing what Maximinius does best, and oh boy, here I go a-killing again. Because he just starts wiping out and killing all the former advisors to Alexander, who was the emperor before him. And now normally I would be like, hey, don't come in and murder everyone who came before you. That's a bad idea. In this case, it was a good idea, because there were 2 plots to assassinate him.
Nice.
So he thwarts the plots by just going on a murder spree.
I
guess you win some.
I need to know, did the assassination plots have to do with a ladder?
No, Matt, they didn't.
To, like, get up high and stab this man in his neck?
No.
Okay. Ladders also probably didn't.
I'm so disappointed.
Sorry.
So,
it's a valid question.
It's a valid question. After his murder spree, he starts working on policy because, you know what? Clean slate, new guy comes in, let's do some policy work. And that policy starts by him doubling the pay of every soldier in the Legion.
Nice.
This guy is a soldier, he's going to pay the other soldiers well. And then he starts getting into, like, religious policy.
It happens.
It happens, but, like, he kind of goes in and is like, hey, all these Christians were being harbored by Alexander. I'm not a Christian. I guess we should just kill them all or exile them.
Yeah, I mean, classic.
And, like, I didn't say he's a nice emperor. I just said he's built like a brick shithouse with a short temper. So, murder all the Christians. Okay. Now, he does also apparently fund a lot of infrastructure work and a lot of, like, road maintenance gets done, so I guess we'll give him one win. But most of his policy is let's murder.
I mean, when you've got a strategy that works...
don't, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Absolutely.
But the issue with Maximinius, who also does get the nickname the Barracks Emperor, due to his, hey, I'm still going to command the armies and fight battles, but I'm also emperor, is this dude loved himself a good fucking war, clearly. The murder inside wasn't enough. There had to be murder outside, too.
Murder on the inside, murder on the inside, murder on the outside.
Just a murder sandwich. And he could
murder in the club.
He could beat anything that came into his path. He was a fucking giant. Why wouldn't he love war?
Yeah.
But the problem with war and constant war is it kind of dries up the coffers.
It's expensive.
It's costly.
That's true.
And it makes the divide between the ruling class and the common people even wider. Wait. Haven't we heard this before? Oversized and overfunded army? A constant need to fight? A growing social gap between the rich and the poor? Huh.
Are you talking?
No, I lost it. I can't think of who that reminds me of.
Current day America?
That was the joke.
I remembered the thing that Zach forgot.
Thanks.
Hey, audience, if you're ever in doubt about jokes, I'm here to ruin them for you. We don't need to be subtle. Zach is talking about us.
Yes.
Being shitty. Welcome to capitalism, baby.
Welcome to capitalism, baby. So a lot of the wars that Maximinius is doing is he's constantly going after the Germanic tribes and trying to, like, rid the land of the Germanic tribes. This was in a time where, like, hey, Germanic tribes were a bit of a problem. Which is also weird because his dad was a Goth, so, like, some weird daddy issues there, but, like, I'm not here to analyze him. I'm just here to talk about him. In 238, due to some governmental shenanigans, as is wont to happen, the then Roman province of Africa goes into a full fucking revolt. And Maximinius and his troops kind of go out to put out the fire and deal with this revolt. But wait, what's that? Why, it's the Roman Senate with a steel fucking chair.
Oh my god.
Because the Roman Senate, in an absolute act of defiance, backed two other guys to be co-emperors, well, in an attempt to oust Maximinius while he's away.
They gotta stop doing this.
But, like, I'll give the credit to the Senate where the credit is due, because it's a little smart. Don't piss off the giant when he's standing in front of you. Wait till he's off to war.
Yeah.
Maximinius is like, well, I guess I'm in the fight of a lifetime.
I'm gonna fight for my fucking life.
It was WrestleMania.
Yeah, absolutely. WrestleMania 86. Like, great. He's like, all right, time to get the troops up and go sack Rome and take my seat back. That was a really comfy chair. And a bunch of more shenanigans happen while Maximinius is on his ride to Rome. And long story short, the Senate end up electing 6 guys to co-rule together.
Nice.
Which is actually the start of the year of the 6 emperors, which is a whole other deal I will tackle later. ... Maximinius shows up to Rome and immediately, like, doesn't let anyone unpack and is like, we're sieging this bitch. I want my share back.
Okay.
To which the army is like, what the fuck? We just stopped marching. Why do we have to start sieging immediately? And
also, I'm tired.
The whole army just kind of gives up on him because, you know, attrition and starvation suck balls. However, the discomfort and distaste that the army has doesn't matter for long, because in June of 238, a few assassins sneak in and kill Maximinius.
Yeah, you would have to get him in his sleep.
You gotta get him laying down. You gotta get him laying down.
It's the assassins with the steel chair.
Or bring a ladder.
It's the assassins with the steel chair. So they go in, they kill Maximinius, they kill Maximinius' son, Maximus, and they kill all of Maximinius' chief ministers, which they follow up.
Roman names really cool, but, like, they got, like, 2 of them.
Yeah, right? I named you me, but shorter.
Yeah, I named you me, but, like, not as many
Less
letters.
of a mouthful.
So.
The whole, so after they kill all of them, the assassins then proceed to behead everyone, stick their heads on pikes and just hand the pikes to Roman cavalrymen so that they can parade them around.
Yeah.
As you do.
As you do.
That's what I do with my enemies.
Yeah, right?
Is it?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. That's Maximinius Thrax and his insanity, which is different than other Roman emperors' insanity, but still something.
That's super crazy. And as I mentioned, we are on a time crunch, so I'm going to launch directly into my thingy.
Hell yeah.
So as I mentioned at the top of the podcast, this is like a little story, like a tiny baby, itty bitty baby story. But I feel like it's worth telling because it's kind of funny and it's a little bit adorable.
Okay.
So my story starts on the 9th of November, in the year of our Lord 1716. Oh God, it feels so nice to be at 4-digit numbers. It's on a ship, on the ocean called the Bonetta, where the subject of our story, John King, was sailing with his mom from Antigua to Jamaica. John was 9 or 10 or 11.
Okay.
Okay, good range.
The story isn't really clear.
Good range.
But the most important thing about this story is that he was young. Because while they were out on the high seas, they were set upon by Samuel Bellamy. Or,
Samuel
as he
L.
was more
Jackson.
commonly referred to, Black Sam Bellamy, who was a notorious pirate.
Who was part of the Marvel Cinematic
He was
Universe.
part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, for sure. According to reports from Abijah Savage, who was the captain of the Bonetta, seeing Bellamy raid the ship and plunder all of the things that were on board got young John King's blood boiling and got him, like, really worked up. And
I mean, this might sound bad about a fucking 11-year-old, but, you know, clearly he's battle horny, and I get it.
yeah, he's a little bit battle horny.
Yeah,
But by the time the
I can
raid was
relate.
done, John King was begging Bellamy to take him into his crew.
I mean, I would too.
And according to Savage's writings of the event, John King even went so far as to say he would kill himself if he was not allowed to join, and that he would kill his mother if she didn't let him leave.
Okay, I don't know what the life expectancy was in those times, but I guess if you're going to be an angsty teen and you don't have much life expectancy, you might as well get it over with while you're 9.
Right, yeah, or
Also,
10 or 11.
his mom is about to, take him out.
I mean,
She
Being
brought him
like,
into
"Listen,
it. She can
talk
take
to
him out
me."
of it.
Yeah, talk to me like that one more time.
she absolutely was not gonna do anything about it. I think she was probably gonna smack his ass and tell him to sit in a corner. But realistically, she probably would have thrown him overboard for being a little shit. So anyways, Black Sam Bellamy saw a determination in the boy and decided to take him along, which makes John King the youngest pirate ever.
Good for him.
But
Okay.
I want you to know that this is a distinction that doesn't include any children who might have been born into piracy, whether there be, female pirates that, gave birth to young pirates. So he was the youngest pirate to have, actively signed up for piracy.
The youngest pirate to be a pirate by choice, not by lifestyle.
So during his time as a pirate, King went on several raids with Bellamy and his crew. And then when Bellamy changed ships from whatever one he had been on when he was raiding with, or had raided the Bonetta when he found King in the first place, he took King along when he moved over to the Wida, which was a slaver's galley that was 100 feet long.
Okay.
and I know that history is like a really fun topic, and we, tell a lot of stories that have really happy endings, but unfortunately, our story of young John King does not have a happy ending because...
child death.
Yeah, child death is not great, but it happens to John King. Our story takes a sad turn on April 26th in the year of our Lord 1717, when the Whydah was traveling off the coast of Cape Cod, Massachusetts.
Okay.
I don't think I don't know when the states were founded because it's late and I'm tired and my brain's not working, so maybe Massachusetts
Not until
existed.
1776.
Okay,
so
cool.
It was a colony
Yeah, so
then.
it didn't.
Zach's just like, yeah, listen, the declaration not signed yet, not a state.
Thing.
Yeah.
But that general.
Also, still not a state. We're a commonwealth. Thank you.
That general area is where the Whydah was traveling, and they unfortunately experienced a bit of bad weather where the ship was demasted, and then it sank, and only 2 of the crew survived, and neither of those 2 were a 9, 10, or 11-year-old pirate boy.
Oh.
So, roughly, not even a full year of being a pirate, because from November 9th to then April is 6 months maybe? Not even?
Look, sometimes you live fast and you die young.
And you die young.
It's
really
better
young.
to burn out than fade away.
Now, what's really cool about this story, because I did a little bit of research, they found the Whydah.
Oh,
did they?
And in 2006, they found the fibula of a boy that would have been John's age. And the leg was wrapped in a silk sock and was wearing a French style shoe.
okay.
So it did confirm that there was a child of John's approximate age on the Whydah when it sunk.
Holy shit.
Interesting.
I love when you get confirmation.
So it's fun to tell a story about a little kid who just ran away to be a pirate. But it's also kind of cool to be able to say that actually happened.
That little pirate boy didn't die?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he died. He died on the ship.
He died, but we know what happened to him.
But we know for sure that he was there.
Yeah. It's nice to have physical confirmation like that.
Because
it's not great, but at the same time, even if he'd lived a long life, he'd still be dead now.
Anyone could tell a story about a little boy that ran away to join the pirates.
Yeah. So what you're saying, Matt, is this one did not get the Procopius method?
No, it was true.
Hell yeah.
It's also, this is going to sound super dumb.
It won't.
But
you need to stop talking
oh.
bad about my friend.
No, this is actually going to sound dumb because you were just off the coast of Massachusetts. I'm like, oh my god, Massachusetts existed? The coast in general?
Yeah.
Back in the day? I don't know.
No, that's basically exactly how I was moments ago when I was I'm not sure if it was Massachusetts yet. And then
off the coast of what is currently Massachusetts.
Yeah. So, the Americas.
America.
I think it's just easy, and this is my American history, being brought up in the American education system. American history starts.
Yeah, starts
when America
in the founding
starts,
of America.
Yeah. So, like, the continent wasn't
and I'm
here.
proud to be an American, where at least I know
That's all
I'm
we
free.
can say. No, we can't.
No, but
we can't
like legitimately,
I
I think a lot of people are teaching their children. It's kind of much in the same way that evangelical Christians really believe that the world is only 5,000 years old.
That's wild to me.
What's that?
Like, when people teach their kids, like, the world is only 5,000 years old, and then, like what they do, teach them that dinosaurs are dragons? Like,
No,
what?
they think it's just made up by the state.
Oh, okay.
The damn state.
But anyways, so...
Man, I wish the state actually dumped that much money and time into lore,
yeah.
into its own fan fiction.
The American lore is garbage. We need a rewrite.
We do need to rewrite, or just scrap the whole thing and
what do you
start a
mean
new project.
garbage? If dinosaurs are part of our lore, are part of our backstory, like, someone's doing something right.
We got that right. That one thing.
Someone was inspired.
You know what?
Okay, with the dinosaurs.
I just remembered that I did learn something today.
Oh?
What?
And it has pertinence to Zach's story more than it has pertinence to mine, but people think that the myth of the Cyclops came from mutated elephant skulls that they found in mostly Greek regions.
Sense.
Huh. Interesting.
I do wish, though, like, that, like, ancient monsters were real.
I gotta be honest with you, I wish
just...
cryptids were a true thing.
Okay, both of you
but
shut
only
your
the
mouths
cool
right
cryptids.
now.
Because the
Okay.
Mothman exists?
Well, no, I was gonna say, like, you don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
I'm not putting any evil on you. I'm just saying it'd be cool.
No, it would be nice.
Yeah, it would be, but at the same time, you're then opening up the possibility of there being those creatures still existing. And I don't want to... Like, a dragon's a cool concept. I don't want to meet one.
Zach, a dragon would be unsustainable in this economy.
Are you kidding me?
That's true.
The dragons would have all the money.
They
The
died.
dragons would have so many tech stocks.
They died out a long time ago. I mostly think that it would be
Alright.
cool if, like, a Bigfoot existed. Anyways, we went off on a tangent, and Megan has to leave before 10:30, which is in 30 minutes.
So, let's get going.
So...
All right. So I am, my story is called And I'm Free Falling. And
free,
that will be...
free falling.
We're going to get sued.
Fucking come at me.
We sang just enough of that song to make it legal.
We toe the line, the litigation
We
line
tiptoe.
with songs every week. The title of my story will become funny and sad as we continue this.
It wouldn't be a Megan
journey
story without
together.
a little bit of sad.
A little 2-for-1 special.
A little 2-for-1, a little 1-2, if you will.
The 1-2 punch.
So, if you think about it, like, the Guinness Book of World Records is, like, I don't know who's on the staff, but I feel like they just pop up out of nowhere sometimes and they're like, hello, here's a record.
Hey, we found a thing.
Yeah, they're just like, and you get a record. And sometimes you just don't want that record.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Like, they're just there when you least expect them, ready to bestow their gifts and curses. That being...
The way you've described them is like a cryptid, like this malevolent being that's just like, you didn't want this, but here it is.
Yeah, it's the Guinness Book of World Records staff. And then all of a sudden a book appears, and it's like weirdly holographic and tie-dye. So this is what happened to this lady named Vesna Vulovic. I think that's how her name is spelled. I will not be taking questions at this time. So Vesna was a Serbian flight attendant who looked like a Bond girl, because I did look her up.
Okay.
And she's pretty hot. And as they say on Law and Order SVU, this is her story. Vesna was born in Belgrade in 1950. Her father was a businessman and her mother was a fitness instructor, so it was a match made in Chad heaven. When I read that and I was like, I feel like it's a stereotype that we know, but we haven't said out loud. So when she was in her late teens and early 20s, she saw one of her friends in a flight attendant's uniform. And I guess this was just like fucking Jesus coming down and being like, Vesna, you know what you must do. So she decided she wanted to follow this career path purely for the aesthetic. And I say for the aesthetic because she really liked London and the Beatles. And she said at one point, like after she saw her friend in this flight attendant's uniform, she was just like, it looked like she could be coming from London at any moment. And that's an interesting reasoning to choose a career path.
I mean, this is also like, it makes me think of like Catch Me If You Can, where it's like, who has the most respect? Fucking airline pilots, you know?
For sure.
I mean, like, maybe back in the day, but like, I don't know about now.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying though. Like back like in the time we were talking about, like, yeah, like pilots and like airline stewardesses were like, it was a big part of the culture.
Yeah, like they were pretty sexy, you know?
Yeah.
And now, like, everyone's just really mean to them. Like, for no reason. These people are trained so hard to be, like, in the sky constantly. They face deep vein thrombosis every day for us. So, in 1971, she joined the dominant airline of Yugoslavia.
Okay.
Now, her story comes to a boil in 1972 when she boards Flight 367, Jet Flight 367. And according to Vesna, she wasn't supposed to be on that flight. But she was confused with another flight attendant who was also named Vesna, a very common name, apparently, in Yugoslavia.
Apparently.
Like, I've never heard this name before this story, and I have never heard this name after this story, but apparently 1972, prime name. Top baby name. That aside, she was excited for the departure because they had an entire afternoon off and could go sightseeing and shopping. What is strange about her telling this story, she tells this story afterwards, is that she says everybody wanted to buy something for his or her family. They seemed to know that they would die. They didn't talk about it, but I felt for them. And the captain was locked in his room for 24 hours. He didn't want to go out at all. In the morning during breakfast, the co-pilot was talking about his son and daughter as if nobody else had a son or daughter. So, I don't know if this is, like, her looking back on the, like, incident, but her saying that is, like, very weird and chilling after you hear what happens next.
Yeah.
So, at 1:30 p.m. on January 26th, Flight 367 departed from Stockholm Arlanda Airport and landed at the Copenhagen Airport at 2:30 p.m., where Vesna and the rest of her crew boarded. She said that her and her colleagues watched everyone deplane, but that one of the passengers looked annoyed. It was when they were in the air at 4:01 p.m. that there was an explosion, and it tore through the baggage compartment. And this caused the aircraft to break apart, with Vesna as the only survivor of the 28 passengers and crew.
No
Holy
fucking
shit.
way.
Yes.
Oh, wait. I think I might know this story. But please, please keep talking, and I'll let you know if I know it after.
Okay. So she was discovered by a villager in Czechoslovakia screaming in the wreckage. Like, she was screaming in the wreckage. She was covered in blood, and her stiletto heels had been torn off by the force of the impact from falling from 33,330 feet.
Jesus.
Jeez.
Yep. Air safety investigators attributed her survival to her being trapped by a food cart so that she couldn't be sucked out of the plane, because like when it exploded, the plane broke in half. And everyone who wasn't like tied down was ripped out. And remember, seatbelts are only a suggestion. So they literally were free falling, but she was sort of like kept cushioned, quote unquote, by the wreckage.
Damn.
Then her portion of the plane landed on trees and a snowy mountainside, which I guess acts as more of a cushion.
Yeah, for sure.
Or whatever acts as a cushion from a height of 33,000 feet.
Yeah.
So her history of low blood pressure actually helped her. It caused her to pass out quickly after the cabin depressurized and kept her heart from bursting on impact.
Jesus.
I thought that was really interesting.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, she even said that she knew about the low blood pressure and knew it would stop her from becoming a flight attendant, but on the day of her medical exam, she drank a lot of coffee, so...
Oh, so her heart rate would look normal? That she...
Yeah, so her blood pressure would look normal, so, like, don't let your medical stuff stop you from living your dreams. Lie.
Yeah, definitely lie.
Eat hot chip and lie.
Eat hot chip and lie.
Eat hot chip and lie and become a flight attendant. So the explosion, I'm sure you probably guessed, was due to a briefcase bomb supposedly placed there by Croatian nationalists, but no arrests were ever made. So they're thinking that, like, the guy that they saw get off the plane that looked super annoyed was the person who left the bomb there.
Oh.
So following the crash, Vesna spent days in a coma. She suffered from a fractured skull, a cerebral hemorrhage, 2 broken legs, 3 broken vertebrae, broken ribs, and a fractured pelvis.
Is that all?
And she was... Oh, that was it. Well, she was also temporarily paralyzed and suffered from amnesia.
Oh, yeah. No, that makes sense.
Oh, that's all.
Yeah. So she couldn't remember, like, when she woke up, she couldn't remember the hour before the crash or 1 month after.
Wow, okay.
So she only learned about the crash like a month after it occurred.
Damn.
She's like, why am I in the hospital? And they're like, oh, you were in a plane crash. And she's like, oh, that's crazy. When was that? And they're like, 4 weeks ago.
Precisely 4 weeks ago.
4 weeks ago. So in 1972, she expressed willingness to resume working as a flight attendant.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yay! And she gave her reasoning because, like, she said she didn't remember the crash. She was like, I kind of don't have a fear of flying because I don't remember crashing.
I don't remember it. Oh, shit. That's fair.
Yeah, she's like, I just don't remember it. Yeah, no, it is fair. I just thought that was an interesting thing, like, for the human brain to do.
That's such a good point.
You know?
But, I mean, the human brain's been doing that for a while.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Neuroplasticity is, like, a cool thing. And I wish, like, I've been listening to this other YouTube channel, and they, like, talk about the evolution of people and, like, all the cool genes that we've had and, like, all of our adaptations. And it's like, you know, when you look at, like, how far people have come, like, sometimes you're like, man, maybe we're more than just assholes, you know?
Maybe
we've been on a journey. Maybe I'm waxing poetic here. Anyway, back to Vesna. So the airline was like, we don't really want you to be working as a flight attendant because they thought that her presence would attract too much publicity, but they gave her a desk job instead. And she was celebrated as a national hero in Yugoslavia.
Okay.
And in 1985, the Guinness Book of World Records recognized her as the world record holder for surviving the highest fall without a parachute, which is exactly what she was going for. How did they know?
Wow.
She was like, I'm gonna fucking crash this plane. That's insensitive. They just show up to her fucking house and they're like, man, here's a world record. And she's like, I don't want this. And they're like, no, you did it.
Why did I ask for this adventure?
Why did I ask for this adventure? She also received recognition at a London gala with Paul McCartney performing. Remember, she really liked the Beatles. Yeah. However, in the 1990s, her life really starts to fall off the rails.
Okay.
She got divorced, and she got fired for speaking out against Serbian politicians. So, politics back at it again. And the government tried to start a smear campaign against her, trying to minimize the plane crash. Like, because she was speaking out there, you're like, yeah, but like, was it really that high that you fell from?
Oh my God.
And she was like, I don't know, man. Why don't you look at my broken back?
I don't know, man.
Why don't you look at my broken body?
You guys have the fucking black box.
You got the black box and the medical record. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's like, they're like, yeah, maybe you only fell from like 1,000 feet up. And she's like, okay, but like all my ribs were broken. So like, maybe, I don't know. I don't remember. So they tried to minimize the plane crash, but, good old Vesna, that didn't stop her from continuing to be politically active. She's like, fuck you. I don't care. And later in life, she said that she struggled with survivor's guilt. And in the last years of her life, she lived on a small pension in her apartment in Belgrade. And she declined many interviews, saying she was tired of discussing the fall. And it was in 2016 that she passed away from a heart condition.
Oh.
But, I mean, she was old at that point, and, like, she had survived, like, something pretty dramatic. So I was reading this story, and, her heyday was pretty interesting, like how people were like, oh my God, you've become like a low-key celebrity by doing something that like you didn't set out to do, and also you don't remember. A lot of her life was defined by a moment that like was not in her memory banks.
Yeah, that's the wildest part to me, is like, I don't remember this, but okay.
And she never regained memory, not of the crash itself, but like she didn't ever remember like anything about
it. It doesn't look like she did. Like, you know when people talk a lot about something that you've done, and
oh, so you just start like telling that story as if you know it?
Yeah, I think that's sort of what started to happen. Like, everyone kept telling her, like, this is what happened. And so she was like, yeah, this is what happened. And so she probably ended up with a memory that was forged through information.
Yeah, forged through the retelling.
I remember she passed out as she was crashing.
Yeah.
So there is no way that she could ever have
observed it.
A memory of the crash.
She wasn't conscious for it. Fuck no.
Yeah, she was unconscious and I don't think she remembered like waking up in the wreckage either. Like, I think her waking up and screaming like was probably her body on autopilot.
Yeah, that or like just the trauma of it, her brain like blocked it out, you know?
Oh yeah, 1,000%. I wouldn't want to remember that. That's like how women don't remember giving birth. They're like, if we remembered what it was really like giving birth,
you'd never do it again.
No one would ever have babies.
Yeah. Damn.
But that's my story. I know that it was like a little bit of a monologue, but it
was a lot.
Was a lot of
crazy.
Information.
It was good. That was a good story. And I had heard about it before. I did not. I did not recall. But the second that you said that her the descent of her plane was made slower by the trees and the mountain, that was what clicked for me, as I had heard this story before.
It's gonna sound really weird, but I think I heard this story before on Mythbusters.
Really?
Yeah, because they were testing to see, like, the highest, like, height you could fall from and survive, and if you could use, like, certain things in a plane to save yourself if you fell out of a plane. I could be wrong. They could have been talking about a different flight, but it just, like, it's too much of a similarity of, like, falling from a high place, you know?
I mean, there's, God, what is it called? It's like the disaster survival game or something, where it, like, tells you, I don't know, like, people guess how you would survive catastrophes, like a falling elevator or a shark attack or something. And then it tells you, like, how you would really survive it. And I just think you have to be, for a plane crash, so incredibly lucky.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, for her, everyone else died because they got sucked out. But because a food cart had fallen on her, and then because her plane landed at a certain, like, her part of the plane landed on a certain area, she happened to survive. She didn't survive well.
But she survived.
Like, she didn't come out of it. She didn't walk out being like, man, that was crazy. Like, she was fucked up.
Yeah. Damn.
I mean, even today, like, even though planes are, like, way better than they were in Yugoslavia circa 1972, but, like, I mean, people still, they still go down.
Oh, yeah.
But I also don't want to end this on a sad note. So, like, you get why my title was funny yet sad.
Yes, no, I do get it. It makes a lot of sense.
I need you to know,
and now I'm
also that your description of the Guinness Book of World Records being, like,
on point,
holographic, unlocked, like, a core memory for me.
Because, okay, so the only reason I know that is because we have the records books, like, at the library in the nonfiction section. So every time, like, I go to the break room, I see them, and I'm like, oh, wow, they really did make those covers, like, weird tie-dye holograms.
Yeah.
I think it's also weird that it's, like, from one of my favorite beer companies.
Oh, yeah. That didn't twig until you just said that.
Yeah, damn.
I thought it was completely separate.
Well, no, just like Michelin stars are based on the tire company.
Yeah.
Oh.
They have nothing to do with each other, but...
Today Meghan learned.
Meghan learned two things.
This is becoming uncomfortable.
Hey, since Meghan has to leave in pert near 8 minutes, we should probably wrap this bitch up.
I was going to say, since Meghan's uncomfortable, I'm ready to do some shout-outs.
Yeah, do that thing that you do.
Do that thing that I do.
It's just because I'm realizing capitalism is everywhere.
Yeah, it's even we aren't, safe from capitalism. But, we really appreciate everyone who does listen. And we're going to give a little bit of a shout-out to some of plug the things that you can find us on. First off, if you go and you listen to us on iTunes, or if you don't, you can listen to us on iTunes or whatever streaming platform you prefer. Don't want to monopolize the market here. But if you head on over to iTunes and you give us a rating and review, it really does help us out. It kind of bumps us up the charts and makes it so that we are a lot more noticed. You can also give us a rating and review on... I don't think you can actually review, but I know you can rate on Spotify as well. And the more ratings we get, the more people can see us. So if you have a chance, just give us a rating and review. You can also find us on our Instagram at _triumvirate_productions. You can find us on Facebook if you just search the Triumvirate Productions. And you can also join our Patreon. Patreon members do get extra little bonuses, including What the Fuck After Dark, our pre/post show. And $10 members not only get What the Fuck After Dark, but they get uncut episodes, and those uncut episodes come out a day before regular episodes. So you get to see and hear, well, you don't see, you just hear, but you get to hear us before everyone else, so you're extra special. Doesn't that feel great?
You also get to hear the parts of the podcast where we fuck up and Zach doesn't edit it out.
Exactly. But yeah, so you can find us on patreon.com if you look us up on patreon.com, or go to patreon.com/triumvirate productions.
So that's Zach's whole thing. So now I'm going to come in and do the thing that I do at the end of every podcast. Ladies, gentlemen, and all of you who identify as anything other than those two gendered terms, please join me at home in saying the following. What the fuck, history?